All right, so what I want to talk to you today is the 7 keys to becoming a better father and a leader at home. And that's really what I want to focus on, just helping you become a better father and become the better person that you want to be and a good role model. So, what number one I want to present is just be present and be intentional. What I mean by that is be inside the home, like spend time with your family, spend time with your wife if you're married, your significant other, or just spend time with your kids. Or you can even do that together. What you can do is y'all can have movie night together. Maybe you have movie night with your kids and your spouse, and it could just be movie night just with your kids if you're not married. And that's something I just want to encourage you is just be intentional and be loving and be caring and listen to your kids whenever they're trying to talk to you about certain things. Don't be so quick to judge them or rush into judgment about certain things. Just talk to them and say, Timmy or little Johnny, that I understand what's going on in your life and I just want to talk to you about it and kind of lead and guide you in the right direction. Just as a father, and be there and tell them that you love them and you care about them, because that'll really boost their self-esteem and motivation. Sometimes we think that our kids don't need the motivation and stuff, but sometimes they do. They could be dealing with different challenges and stuff. It could be grades at school. It could be bullying at school. It could be so many different things. They could be sick and going to school, and maybe they need that extra push. Like, Dad, I really appreciate you just encouraging me and you just saying, I love you and I'm there for you if you want to talk or something like that. Even my son, he got this Apple Watch now that his grandma gave him. And he's not really supposed to have his phone at school. And I'm like, hey, that's between you and your mom because your mom got that. So what he does is sometimes I'll text him during the day so I don't forget something. And then he has his little Apple Watch and then he'll look on there and then he'll like reply back or something. I'm like, boy, you ain't supposed to have your Apple Watch at school. But that's what he does. He has his Apple Watch with him sometimes instead of picking up. Even sometimes when my son is not with me and he's with his mom or his grandmother or something, he'll always like go in the other room and talk to me on a video chat. Even in terms of that, he'll go to the restroom or he'll just talk to me sometimes right in front of him. And it's just being intentional for me, just calling him. And I used to call like once a week. What I do now is sometimes I call him a couple times like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, this is going on. I want to talk to you about soccer. Hey, where's your brother? What's his favorite color? What do y'all want to eat? And it's just being intentional and really being there for him. And that's something I want to talk to you about, is just leading to with integrity. And what I mean by that is you want to value just being that role model, being there to say, you know what, I am your father and I want you to look up to me as an example. But you as a father also want to set that example. You don't want to be out there dealing drugs and stuff like that and showing them smoking weed or doing cocaine or something like that. You don't want to show that. And what you want to show is that you're not on drugs, even that too. You don't want to be strung out on drugs, smoking and all that kind of stuff. I mean, me personally, I'm not going to say I'm always the best father, but when I was in college, I smoked cigarettes and different stuff like that when I was younger. But I don't do that now just simply because that's not really who I am. And then working at the hospital now, it's like, dealing with lungs and cancer and all these different things. It would be kind of dumb for me to smoke and all that kind of then work at the hospital. So that's one of the reasons I don't really smoke. And smoking is not for me. As far as drinking and stuff, when I go out with my guy friends, sometimes I'll drink, and then sometimes if I hang out with some different friends, they'll buy me a drink, or if they come over, they'll get me a drink. And sometimes I don't even have to ask. Sometimes they just bring one. I'll drink occasionally if that, or if it's some type of family event or something is going on, and what I'll do is I'll have a drink. But overall, as a whole, I really don't drink like that. I don't, just if I'm out or something, but I don't buy drinks and then bring them home. Just simply because drinking is not for me. And then smoking, I don't smoke weed, I don't smoke cigarettes. I barely drink. I really try to monitor my health just from a standpoint of just saying, hey, this right here is not for me. And I really try to make sure I set the example. I can give you another good example. I always try to eat healthy, eating potatoes and salads and different things like that. But recently I lost a little bit of weight. And what I did was I was like, okay, I'm going to eat McDonald's for a couple of days and some burgers and stuff like that for like a week or a couple of days. So I did that. And then I asked my son, where did you eat today? Because I know you were with your grandma and I picked you up. He said, Dad, I ate at McDonald's. I said, why are you eating at McDonald's? He said, you can't talk about nobody. You've been eating McDonald's. And that's the example. We really have to just watch what we're doing. So I did that. Luckily, I was able to gain some weight back and I started eating healthy again. I just realized, okay, I can eat healthy, but how can I gain weight in a healthy way? So I started just eating potatoes and different things. And that's the example that I set, is that I have these different things that I'm doing just to show them, even getting up in the morning and going to church and stuff. Hey, every Sunday they know I'm going to church. I might be a little bit late. I try to make it on time and stuff like that. It's not always possible. But luckily, I'm able to make it there on time. And just I get up sometimes and I just try to set that example and stuff. Even my kids know on Sundays, so when I do go to church, I come home, I read my Bible. In the mornings, I try to read my Bible every day. And sometimes, I don't always get to it, but I really try. I probably say 6 to 7 days out of the week, I'm reading my Bible. And that's just something I really try to set that example, and they know that not to come in the room because daddy's studying or he's reading and watching some videos and stuff. And that's the thing. You want to have that integrity to really show and be that model because they want to look up to you. They don't want to look up to a father who's strung out on drugs or hitting women or beating women and cheating and stuff like that. Even me, myself, I don't even have women over at the house like that. When my kids are around, I never have different women around and different stuff like that because I always try to make sure that it's just us, since I am a single dad, just showing them that I don't have all these people around me and stuff like that. And even my kids, when I ask them, do you want me to hang out with my friends when I'm with you? They're like, nah, Dad, we just want to hang out with you. And that's fine with me. I really try to do that. And I just want to tell y'all too to communicate with love and communicate with respect. One of the things I always do is my younger son, I don't know if it's because he's younger, I'm still not really sure yet, but I always have to like give him a hug and tell him that I love him and stuff like that. And sometimes you can't have or crack certain jokes with my younger son just simply because he's more sensitive. And that's the thing, is like, I don't want to be that father who is overbearing and stuff. So even when I'm walking in Walmart, I'm holding his hand and stuff like that, giving him hugs. Sometimes I kiss him and stuff because my younger son, that's just how he is. You have to be a little bit more loving and stuff like that. And one thing about him is you can't yell at him and stuff. You just have to talk to him a calm, collective voice because that's his personality. And that's something I really just try to watch with him. Like the other day I was holding him and I was carrying him into Walmart, and then I was holding him all the way. I said, you want me to carry you? He said, yeah, Dad, just carry me into Walmart. And I was like, okay. So I just carried him into the store. And that's something I just really try to pride myself on. It's just really being there for both of my kids, not just the younger one, but really just showing extra love and attention to my younger son because he likes hugs and all that kind of stuff. Whereas my younger son is like, you can talk to him kind of crazy, like, hey, sit down, I told you like 4 times, and just hit him upside the head or something. He just listens and like, he just kind of shake his head and go along with it. I think because my older son is more into sports, my younger son, he kind of is into it, but baseball where it's a little bit slower. And my younger son is into a faster pace with soccer. So just different personalities. Your kids just have different personalities, and that's something you just want to be mindful of. And another thing I just want to talk about, just creating a meaningful tradition. And that's something I really try to emphasize too, is whenever I pick my kids up, normally I pick them up on Thursday all the way till Monday morning, but sometimes it's on Friday. But they always know on Friday when I get them, we're going to get combination fried rice. Unless we out somewhere, I love combination fried rice, and I have 2 spots that I always go to. I got one that's kind of on the way home. Then I have another one that's kind of in between my house, but I have to go like around the corner and stuff like that. And then I pick up the rice. And even recently, I've been getting about 2 of them because they've been eating more. You know, kids growing and they eat more. So what I did is I got the combination fried rice and we eat that. And that's something we do really, I would say, like every Friday. That's just something, it's just one of those traditional things that we try to do. And then every couple, I would say, probably Thanksgiving, I would say, what we normally do is that we spend time with my family when my kids are with me. But recently, we spent time with my kids, their mother and their family too. And that's something I really try to emphasize, is setting that tradition, setting that role model, because when you set their tradition, they can also have a tradition that they have with their own spouse, and they have that tradition with their family. And I always tell my kids, what is a tradition? And I describe it. They're like, yeah, we know what that is. Like, you know, Dad, you always pick up the combination fried rice. And then it's like, sometimes you see your mom majority of the time on like a Sunday and stuff. Then you got the tradition of going to church and stuff on. So I was like, okay, so they know what tradition is. So try to set that example, a tradition that only you do with your spouse, or only you do with your kids, or your just family as a whole. Because only y'all can set their tradition. It doesn't have to be the same as everybody else's. But set that tradition into where it's something that only y'all do. And that's something I just want to encourage y'all. And I just want to teach you is that be that example. Be there for your kids and show them that this is the way you do things. Whether it's just saving money, or it could be spending money on small items. It could be just how to drive, just setting that example. Like even me, like I don't even cuss like that. I really don't even cuss. Like every once in a while, very rarely, unless I'm frustrated or something like that. But I gotta be extremely frustrated to like cuss. But I just don't do that. And I really try to set that example of just showing them that you don't have to cuss and stuff like that. And we can just talk in calm, cool, collective voices. And my older son is so funny. He's like, yeah, Dad, you know, when somebody yells at me or something, he's always like, Dad, you know, I tell him, you don't have to yell at me. Just talk in a normal voice and stuff. And that's normally what I do, is I just talk to my kids. You can be stern and say, hey, look, I told you. And that's something I do with my older son. I told you like 5 times, you need to stop doing this. And then he listens. He's like, okay, he's serious. Like, I need to stop doing that. And then he listens. And I can give you an example. When I was talking to my son, I said, hey, look, when you're playing soccer, get in front of the guy instead of standing behind him. You need to do this. I'm tired of telling you that. And he just fixed it and corrected. And that's the example, is that you just want to say, I can show you what to do. I can lead and guide you, but I can't do it for you. And then I also want to tell you, just as a father, just prioritize that family time. Prioritize spending time with your spouse. When you don't have your kids or you need a babysitter, make sure that you're going on a date once a week or once every 2 weeks with your spouse or your significant other to show that example, to say, hey, you know what? When my kids get married, I want to be that example and show them, go out with your spouse and be loving and caring to your spouse. That way you can spend that quality time with them so they can see that example, so they know what's out there and then know how to treat their spouse. Be that example. And it's something I really just try to encourage my kids, is just cultivating and prioritizing that family time together. And that's something I just want to tell you about. And a call to action, I just really want to tell you, as a family, as a father, and as kids, try a couple of these examples. Try a couple of these things. Come down in the comment section and come back after you watch this video. It could be 1 time or 2 times or 3 times. Watch this video a couple times and then see what you can take from this video. And then come back and tell me in the comments below, did something work about the quality time? Did it work to be intentional with the loving? Did it work to set in a family a tradition? And let me know what you think down in the comments below. Did some things work? Did they not work? Or what things did you change? So let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Check out my next video tomorrow, and thanks. Peace. We out.